Alright guys, I am doing something special for Halloween. I am doing a top 10 scary and creepy enemies from the Redleaf Gaming channel. Now what that means is that in order for a character to be on this list, they have to be from a game I have played on my gaming channel, which is this channel. I could only do one from each game, but I could do multiple from franchises. But one to each game, and this is just my opinion on which characters, enemies I found the scariest and the creepiest to play against. And without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so in our number 10 spot, we have the Spider from Limbo. Now, the Spider from Limbo is a scary entity, but it does leave a lot to the imagination as it is just kind of this silhouette. And it doesn't have like the initial scare factor of most creatures because there's a lot to the imagination that can be added to make the spider less scary. Although even though the silhouette is incredibly detailed, it does not meet the requirements, for me at least, to be a actual terrifying villain. But in our number 10 spot is the Spider from Limbo. In our number 9 spot is the Dealer from Buckshot Roulette. It looks like he's going to jump scare you at every moment when you look up, but he doesn't. It's just this tension that's there, and he looks like he eats people on Saturdays with that toothy maw of his. And there's also the added factor that he's pointing a maybe loaded shotgun at you. So our number 9 spot is the Dealer from Buckshot Roulette. In our number 8 spot, we have the Trions from Far Cry 1. Now, forgive the graphics of Far Cry 1, but these creatures were super scary to go up against. They would jump at you out of the shadows, and just look at them. They're absolutely terrifying. Can you imagine if this was remastered? Ugh. I hated fighting against the Trions. So anyways, the Trions are our number 8 spot. The Giant Manangi from Resident Evil 5 take our number 7 spot. These guys were super unsettling to go against. The way they looked, that club made of human skulls and their face masks, just pure psychological horror. Even though I took them down pretty easy once I acquired the Magnum, they were still a threat if there were more than 2 of them, and I hated fighting the giant Mangini. I believe it's pronounced Mangini. Spot number 6 belongs to Chris Walker, the stalker enemy from Outlast 1. Now, whenever this guy was in the same area I was, absolutely shaking in my boots the whole time. This guy was so scary. The sounds of his chains and his like chuffed breathing always got to me. So Chris Walker is in the number 6 spot. Our next spot belongs to Eddie Gullin from the Outlast Whistleblower DLC. He was the main antagonist. And he was one of the victims of the Murkoff Corporation to be tested on, and this led him to either worsen his mental state or created his mental state, where he tries to turn men into his wife so he can have the family he never had. And he has a fascination with Wayland Park, which is the character you play as. And Wayland Park also goes through this process, or almost goes through this process, but does manage his escape. So part 5, number 5, goes to Eddie Gullin. Our next entry spot, number 4, belongs to the Librarian from the game Metro 2033. Now, these things were absolutely terrifying to go against. I don't even know if they're killable, but the tactic was to stare at them and they won't attack you. Um, but if you looked away, shot at them, or tried to run, they would attack you. And if they attacked you, that was it. Game over. You might as well, accept your fate. Because the Liberians are these weird gorilla creatures. Maybe government experiments. I don't know. But number 4 belongs to the Librarian. Part 3, going into the top 3, is Marta from Outlast 2. Now, this was another stalker enemy, basically like Chris Walker, but way scarier in her voice, the way she moved. Just, her presence is way scarier for me than Chris Walker. And she rightfully belongs in the top 3. So, top 3 belongs to Marta from Outlast 2. Our number 2 spot belongs to Mother Gooseberry. This was one of the main antagonists for Outlast the Trials. She was super intimidating. Her like little hand puppet was super intimidating. Her pathing was so aggressive. If she found you, she found you. Like, it was very hard to actually escape her. Also, the way she talks about, like, you know, like her children and stuff is just really off-putting and unsettling. But yes, part 2 goes to Mother Gooseberry from Outlast the Trials. And our number 1 spot for the top 10 scariest monsters from the games I have played is the monsters from Still Wakes the Deep. Now, Still Wakes the Deep was a great experience for me. I really love that game, and part of that was due to the design of the monsters. They were like these big spaghetti balls that had murder on the mind. The way you avoided them, the way they acted, the way they looked, the way they sounded, just, 10 out of 10 out of 10 on that. I really liked how the monsters looked, moved, reacted with the environment. They even how they would react with your character. It was just great. So the top spot for this list goes to the monsters from Still Wakes the Deep. Alright guys, thank you for watching this top 10. A little different for the channel than what I usually do, but don't worry. I'm not changing my content. I might do one of these every few years, or maybe once a year. We'll see what happens. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my other channels, Redleaf Mapping and Redleaf Gaming. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave your top 10 in the comments about the games you guys have played, or maybe your top 10 that you would have picked through, if you would have changed any of the picks I had for the top 10 scariest and creepiest enemies in games that I've played. I'm still not 100% sure what the title is going to be, but Alright guys, I will catch you in the next one.